It's about 6:15. Sorry, I'm a little dirty. I've been moving and stacking firewood. So I watched a big chunk, the first 30 or 40 minutes of Donald Trump's speech in Pennsylvania tonight. I had a few observations. I wanted to mention a couple of things that specifically he talked about. And then we're getting some reactions and fact checking to his speech. This was supposed to be a sales pitch for the economy, which is in the toilet. We've lost 1.1 million jobs this year, more than any other time since the pandemic, and we're going to surpass those job loss figures. And these will be the worst job losses we've sustained since 2008, the financial crisis. And it may surpass those numbers as well. And then we would have the worst job losses since the Great Depression. But Trump started off by saying, "We saved America." Somebody in the crowd yelled, "You saved us." The crowd was exactly what you expect. The speech was somewhere in Pennsylvania, a town that I've never heard of. And he said, "Last election, we kicked ass." So apparently he's forgetting election night a month ago. He said, "So I won 3 elections." So he's still on that shit. He said, "We won 86% of the counties, but about 70% of our nation's GDP comes from the counties that he didn't win. And land doesn't vote." Within just the first few minutes, he started mocking Joe Biden. He did that repeatedly throughout. He said, "We're finally respected again around the world." He said he saved U.S. steel. He pointed at the news media several times, calling them fake news and ragging on them, got the crowd booing against all members of the media, which that's got to be fun to be a member of the media. He bragged about all the stuff he's doing with Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Qatar. He said he fixed the military and cops and firemen. And then he started meandering. And then he's like, "You love the weave. I love the weave. Bing, bang, boom, bong, bing. You love the weave, but you got to tie it back." It was gibberish. He said a few times that his favorite word is tariff. And then he said that Susie Wiles, his chief of staff, told him that he is the only one who can win the midterm elections for Republicans. I pray to God they have him out there campaigning for the midterms constantly. It'll be an even bigger landslide than what is already going to happen. Several times he mentioned women in sports. Several times he said transgender for everyone, and that Dems want open borders, men and women's sports, and transgender for everyone. He said prices are lower, your paychecks are bigger, inflation has been handled, your 401ks are doing great. Then he's supposed to be talking about affordability. And he said affordability, and he was like, "That's the Democrats' new hoax. That's their new hoax. They say that word, this big word. They say the word affordability." And then for some reason, he pointed out somebody who had a Trump 2028 hat on, and the entire crowd started chanting 4 more years. So in case you were hoping that his audiences were going to get smarter and less gullible, you would be wrong. He went off on a rant about miners and clean, beautiful coal. He started ragging on China for windmills, that they kill all our birds. He said energy prices are down, inflation is down. Democrats rob working people and give the money to immigrants. Biden didn't even know what was happening during his term, and somebody in the crowd yelled out auto pen. People in the crowd were yelling that word auto pen repeatedly. He said Sleepy Joe, crooked Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe Biden. And he said Democrats want to return to Bidenomics. Then he went back to men and women's sports, transgender for everyone, every transgender for everyone, and transgender for every family, which I thought was interesting. Then he went off on Ilhan Omar in a really, really nasty, nasty way. And then he said he went off on Ilhan Omar and her little turban. She's from Somalia. It's the worst country in the world. They have nothing. She married her brother to get into the United States. She's here illegally. And then the crowd started chanting, "Send her back, send her back." It was really gross. And then he talked about our savior, Scott Bessent, who is a killer, who is in charge of the Somalia, Minnesota fraud investigation. He said Ilhan Omar and AOC hate our country. He said crime is way down because we're removing all of the illegal alien criminals. Then he was talking about China and soybeans, said that China is buying trillions of dollars worth of our soybeans, which is not a thing. And he said he got a rare earth mineral deal done with China, because that's what happens when you have a smart president. He said we have the greatest economy ever in the history of the planet because of tax cuts and tariffs. And then he went off on all the things that he's been through and the stuff he went through in his first term with the Russia bullshit. That's a quote. Impeachments, crooked Dems. And then he said that he campaigned on bringing down prices, but that the media was mean to him on his first day. And by the second day, they said, "Why aren't egg prices down, Mr. President? Why didn't you bring egg prices down yet? You campaigned on bringing them down on day one, you potato." And then I had to go do some stuff. So that was like the first 30 or 40 minutes. I don't know how long he ended up speaking, but he did go off on another tangent. He said, "I've announced a permanent pause on third world migration." I didn't say shithole, you did. We had a meeting and I said, "Why is it we only take people from shithole countries? Why can't we have some people from Norway, Sweden, just a few? But we're always taking these people from Somalia." So, I mean, it's not a surprise. He's not even hiding the racism, the replacement theory, the remigration. He wants to ethnically cleanse the United States and make it an all-white country, I guess. I mean, if he actually got that done, think about how fucking boring this country would be. But, his speech just had overt racial attacks against black people and black members of Congress, and disgusting insults hurled at African nations. And then this stuff about shithole countries and why can't we have some people from Norway and Sweden. So it was a white supremacy economic fantasy land speech. He says, the economy is doing amazing. But then Jake Tapper came in at the end and said, "The reality is that Americans continue to struggle with rising costs and are increasingly holding Trump responsible. A recent CBS News survey showed that just 36% of Americans approve of Trump's handling of the economy." That's an F, which just tells me that 36% of the people in this country are either incredibly wealthy or incredibly stupid. According to a Fox News poll last month, 62% of Americans say they blame Trump for the current economic conditions. 32% still blame Joe Biden. That's probably part of the 36% that approve of Trump's handling of the economy. Then we started getting some reactions. John Favreau from Pod Save America, guys, Trump's approval is near record lows, dragged down by his approval on the economy, dragged down by his least popular policy, tariffs. Affordability tour off to a great start. J.J. Abbott said it only took 20 minutes for Trump's speech to go completely off the rails. That's about right. He can't even stay focused on a speech about affordability, let alone do anything else. Another person wrote, Trump's economic speech is now cutting more midterm ads for Democrats. Exactly. Ahmed Baba, political analyst, wrote, so this affordability tour is a propaganda campaign seeking to gaslight Americans into disbelieving their own lived experience. His supporters know what